Hello. Hello, sexy souls. How are you all doing? So allergies full on swing in effect around here. So much so that my son ended up even when he was texting me yesterday at school, I did end up going and getting him. He wasn't doing all that great. He's just got it all going down the back of his throat. We are known for that around here. I mean, where I'm from in this family. So voila. And of course, me too. So when we start hitting like the 80-degree weather and shit like that, like the allergies just go. So if I look like I am red, I tried to put makeup on under here, but it was like it's it's full. And I've got my nose spray over here for y'all who know me. But this time around, Mama don't play. That's Afrin. I'm like, I dare you to get plugged up. So, anywho's, he's okay. He's back at school today. But you know a child is sick when you go pick him up and you bring him back home and he's immediately asleep for 4 hours. He's like just dead to the world. I was like, oh, poor baby. And when again, when he's the child that hardly ever gets sick, he's like, this feels like shit, that kind of thing. So he don't take it so well. He's also the very hyperactive one, constantly going. So, but I did. I went and got my big baby from school yesterday. Okay. All right. So Spirit's been having a couple of songs, like you know how like Spirit likes to pick one particular verse or one little sentence out of a song and like loop it. But it's funny because there's like 4 or 5 that are going on, and they'll do one sentence from this song, one from this one, one from this one, one from this one, from this one, and I'm like, okay. So I'm just going to tell you what they are. There was Here We Go Again. So this one was Here We Go Again. And then it was It came in like a wrecking ball. And then what was the other one? Those are the 2 that are constantly in my head right now. Like there was at least 5. I was like, what? And I feel like it's all saying something, and I wish I could remember. I hate when that happens. But I did spend a little bit of time getting my sinuses together because, yes, like I came in like a wrecking ball. Or it came in like a wrecking ball. I keep wanting to say I came in like, and they're like, no, it. What is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know this song. And then it's the Here We Go Again, and then it's like, but then they change it to Here I Go Again. I don't know which one's right, but the Here We Go Again is what comes through. I don't know why. So, and then something about it came in like a wrecking ball. It did feel like, what was that third song? Watch it come through as I'm doing the reading. They'll start singing the other ones. I'll let you know when they came through. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay. But usually if it's my brain just hyperfixates on one. And it does it until it's so annoying. And they just grind it. That's how I know it's my brain. Right? It'll be like stuck for 5 days. It's annoying as shit. But this one, like, this is not usually how it goes. It's like they were just like, it's almost like they were telling me something through one verse, one verse, one verse, one verse, one. You know what I mean? And instead of me just paying attention to the words, I'm over here like, whoa, like I'm trying to feel into the energy of it. And the energy that I got is, I just heard I need an answer right now. So whatever. Like if I'm in the energy of whoever I'm reading for, it's like, I just need an answer right now. Like maybe there's something somebody's questioning and they're just like, I feel like it's almost like a matter of fact kind of thing, or like a yes or no, like just answer me, like, or I just need an answer right now, like, don't think about it, like just tell me. Don't go into a long explanation. Just tell me. It feels like somebody's wanting a very short, quick, to the point type of an answer. Like no being around the bush. And I have no clue at this point. I'm sure it'll make sense. What the fuck those songs got to do with this? And maybe it's one of the, maybe that's what it is. Maybe the answer comes in like a wrecking ball. Like it's like, you know what I mean? Or maybe whatever you're asking about, that's your answer. It comes in like out of fucking nowhere and just, blows things out of the water. I don't know what you asking. I have noticed a theme with a lot of the readings over the last 6 months where there's a lot of conversation that's happening though. I feel like I keep eavesdropping on someone's mental conversation with spirit or with themselves. Or, I mean, we do get other people coming in, but there's a lot of them that reflect that. And so it's a little bit like, well, good on anybody who is in a consistent conversation with their higher self, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, who's consistently in touch and allows that to flow, right? And isn't cutting it off. Like, good on you for that, right? And I think it's also good on you that it's a conversation versus just tell me what to do kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I want to echo that, but I do recognize that I'm like, okay, I constantly feel like instead of their like having a subject, well, that's not true. We sometimes have a subject, but like I do feel like sometimes it's more or less like when you're having those conversations and you're not hearing the response appropriately, that's when we go into it over the reading. It's like I am being the mouthpiece for that response or something like that. It's that way. So, so let's just see what they have to say, because obviously somebody's in communication and they're like, you want to like, just tell me. Like, I don't know if you feel like somebody is spirit or somebody's trying to soften the blow, or like, you know how people like myself who have ADHD, it's like the story, like when you ask a question and like the answer is like, and it comes back and you're like, oh my fucking God. Like, could you just tell me? That it feels that way. And that has been it's almost like treat me like an adult and just say it. Like, come on now. Anywho, and they're already pointing out the divine doors. And so it can be a bit like perplexing to me when I don't hear the rest of the fucking conversation. I'm like, why are we asking this? And what's the deal? Huh? You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know what else is being said. And I'm like, what are you fucking asking about? And this is just all that they're saying. So I guess that's by design, is what I'm going to say. 1 billion views. Okay. And we know these cards. This is my frou-frou deck. And generally, I'm going to say, and I keep saying this, I've noticed that when this is the very first card that I pull, we're in for a treat. We're in for like a good, like uplifting, good answer. Not that these are always uplifting. Sometimes there's a message of like, you need to do this. But for whatever reason, it's like, this is my deck of like, if I start with it. Now, sometimes I pull it in the middle of it. But if I start with it, there's a change, a transformation. Like a Wheel of Fortune type of energy. Like there's something good about to happen is what I usually want to say. And I'm like, okay. So let's just see. For those who didn't see yesterday was a good reading. I was like, what? I felt like I heard spirit say something I've not heard them really say through me to people. It was really just like, it was the way that it was said. Like we've always talked about what role do you play, but the way that they deliver the messages is like, oh. It just landed. So maybe yesterday landed for somebody. I don't know. Because you can hear something and it's like, oh yeah. And then one day it's like, whoosh, you can feel it in your body. You're like, it just comes out and you're like, oh. So if you haven't watched that, I would encourage you to. And yes, this is my go-to sweatshirt. It's like my robe. You know how y'all will walk around the house and do stuff and then you put your robe on because you're just in the house? Like this is my robe. It's look at how oversized it is. It is my comfy thing. So I could look different. I have a different outfit on underneath every single day, and you won't fucking know because I put this bitch on because it's comfy. It also used to be my daddy's. So I was looking at my YouTube and I was like, damn, I wear that sweatshirt a lot. Yes, I do. All the time. All the time. That's a lot. And that does not normally happen with this deck. Okay, so we're just going to go with it. We got the sunset card. All right. And basically what it's talking about is release, like a release of attachments, cords, pain. Okay. It's almost like that is fading, much like the sun setting. It's going away. An old cord is released. And then it's like we've got this, which this one has been coming out a lot right now, the synchronicities card. The synchronicities in 2, but it really mentions like don't hold back. That's what they're focusing on today. So they're saying like maybe don't hold back from allowing something to slip away in your life, or don't hold back from like let the pain of the past and what you've been through go. Maybe somebody has a little bit of like remnants of pain coming up, and spirit's like, just let it go. Let it flow. Like let it feel it and let it go. Like I feel a bit of judgment. So, okay. Well, now they're moving fast with the energy. So I'm feeling like somebody is being judgy on themselves for the way that things have happened over the last 2 years. They're bringing me to a 2-year block, which is the energy of like I wanted to accomplish something and didn't. I feel like a failure because I couldn't do something. It's like almost like somebody is wanting to hold themselves accountable for something, like the role. Oh, okay, like the role that they did play in something, and it's because they are being vulnerable enough to say it could have gone differently, or I could have done this, or this is where like I was a part of this. And it's like it brings up pain. Because it's like I don't know why it's being said like this. I just want to be proud of myself. Like I don't even care what anybody else thinks. It's what I think of myself. And it's like I don't feel good about what's transpired or the role that I played in it. And by all means, like in the grand scheme of things, I don't feel like anybody has played it's not like somebody's done anything horribly terrible. But I think that maybe somebody was in a place where they couldn't do the forward movement. They couldn't get out of a space. And like maybe they felt they were struggling with something, and it kept them in place. It kept them stagnant. And it feels like I just want to be able to do this. I just want to be able to. I think you want to be able to let go of whatever you were struggling with. Created a lot of pain for yourself, for you over the like. Give me like a block. It looks like a block, like a window of time, right? And they're like, your struggle with that contributed to some type of, right? And this, if we liken it to yesterday, your pessimism, right? Like your distrust of spirit, distrust of yourself. So you have struggled with that. And I think that somebody's like, I see that. I just wish that I could. Like, I wish I knew the magic words where I could. And you feel guilt or shame or disappointed, thank you, in yourself because you couldn't. And you're like, you know, like, why couldn't I just get over it? Why couldn't I just move beyond it? Is what it feels like. Why couldn't I just, and you couldn't. You were in a space. Hey, LP. And they're like, but that's gone now. You're in a place where you can move forward, where you're not fighting that demon anymore. Maybe you don't necessarily recognize that. But they're like, time to release those cords. It's okay. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive the situation, the circumstances, any roles that or disappointment that you have in the fact that you couldn't push past something. You couldn't just get over something. You couldn't just, move on. And it's like, it robbed you of time is what you feel like. And they're like, it evolved the way in which it did, probably to give you that solidity within yourself. Sometimes if we don't really master something very well, and we try to venture out, we'll find ourselves back in the same position. That's how we create loops for ourselves to really learn it. Because it's not just about the experience, it's about how well something has been integrated deeply within yourself. And so they're like, that's done with, because I think there's a recognition of what happened and you're sad because of it. And they're like, but that's okay. And you're not quite sure, like, how am I any different today than I was then? And how can I be sure that I won't do the same? I won't pick up that torch again and continue that battle, that pitchfork. You know what I mean? Like, how do I know that I can, you know what I mean? That I've really gone across. And there's just this level of lack of self-confidence, like lack of confidence, but mostly just disappointment. And they're like, just put it down, put the pitchfork down, put the torch down, and this is that thing of feeling like there is something that had greater influence over you. It's being disappointed that you handed your power away to that, whatever it is. And as a result, you stayed on your hamster wheel. And if it's one thing when other people do something, because you can move beyond it a lot quicker most of the time, it is really difficult to get over or move past and beyond when you realize that you were a piece and a part of that. It was so much easier when you could blame everything external to you, right? And you're a complete victim. And not to say that we aren't victim to circumstances, but when we set up shop in that victimhood, it's like, or maybe it's that maybe that's what you were working through. Maybe what you see on the surface of having to deal with that and feeling disappointed and shame for the way that you struggled was because the real lesson beneath all of that was, despite the circumstances that occur, never setting up shop in victimhood. And maybe you need to stay and wallow in that for a period of time to get such distaste and disdain for it that you'd never return, right? We all have those types of experiences where we get to a certain place and it's like you experience something and it's like there's me before I knew this and there's me after knowing this. And sometimes you can come to a certain revelation deep within yourself where it's like a point of no return. There's no going back to that. Sometimes it's that struggle is the final release of that. You know? Like, how do I completely, utterly purge this so it doesn't come up for me again? This sense of it's like a mixture of codependence. It's like codependence on staying in victim mentality. Everything and everything is always against me. The world is against me. No matter how good I am, it wouldn't matter. All that kind of stuff, right? And you've come out the other side, but you're looking back at it like you're mourning the time that was lost and feeling a bit ashamed. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with taking accountability and seeing our role in something that maybe was attempted to be pointed out to us a multitude of times. But much like any other time when we heal and it's time to move forward, we almost have this moment of saying goodbye to that. And Spirit's like, you really are in a good, and it's the energy I feel is one of like reverence for this acknowledgement and just the willingness to be vulnerable, to experience the emotion when you come to terms with something. It's like after a family member passes and how you might cry a little bit, but you never feel it from deep within because you're going through the motions. You got to do the funeral. You got to do this. You got to do that. There's all kinds of stuff. And then when the dust finally settles, you don't have a lot going on in life. You don't have, and suddenly it comes up. That ache. It was waiting for a quiet moment to be released. That's what it feels like. All from this damn sunset card. That's the word of God. And they're like, it's okay. You're just releasing it. Like when you realize, you're like, why am I still tethered to this? Why is there this like draw to it? And you realize the whole time you are holding the cord as much as that situation, circumstance, or person is. And you're like, and that, I think that's what it is. You look down and you're like, I've been holding on to this. And we can get very upset with ourselves when we go, I knew better than to do this. And I thought that I wasn't doing this. But the beautiful thing is that means that you get to let go of that pain now. You dropped the cord. You're not tethered to it. You're not tethered to continuing to be the victim of the world, of spirit, of the entities that attack you. You are no longer the victim because you dropped the cord. See, you still holding that cord gave that energy a path to travel to you. I don't care what protections you put around you, right? It's a situation where it's like, Spirit's like, I'm doing everything I can, but you're still holding the fucking cord. Drop the cord. Because I can't make you. Remember, that was the lesson yesterday. I can't make you do that internally. Because the internal realm is completely your baby. That's where the true essence and understanding of free will comes from. The choice of how we see something, perceive it, work with it energetically, like all of that. And so they're like, and you're like, why is this happening? The Spirit's like, I'm trying to help you, but you're literally giving it an in. No matter what I put around you, you're holding the fucking highway, like an umbilical cord that just brings it right back to you. You have to fucking drop the cord. And that was the struggle. Like the struggle to recognize you were holding the cord. You were still giving it an in. But sometimes that massive struggle is what actually severs it. Right? Much like with a baby, cutting through an umbilical cord is not fucking easy. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, when they finally get to trying to cut it, because they're like, oh my God, I can feel it crunch and go. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm just saying. And here's the thing, babies are not considered to be born until you cut the cord. Because it is still attached to its former energetic source. But time here turns to release and unfurl. Old cords of pain fade as the sun's light burns. That shit is setting. And they're like, you can be in reverence and in mourning of this new revelation and recognition. And they applaud you for recognizing it. And it's okay. I want to say it's okay to cry about that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to let that go. But by all means, do not let that stop you. Do not hold back because of the disappointment you're having in this moment for yourself. In fact, don't let that lesson go unlearned. That was a hard one lesson. To finally let go of that cord. And it's like, we're going back to the old analogy, a dog who's been chained up all of its life. You take the chain off, it doesn't realize that it's free. So Spirit's stepping in and saying, I know that you're mourning this. You've reached an exceptional place, but you're free. Because maybe in this moment, you don't trust yourself. Because look at the shit show I just did for however long. And Spirit's like, yeah, but you're free. So don't hold back. All right? Don't hold back. And then it says, change beckons for you. The path is shifting, which we said in the beginning. We could tell with some of the stuff that was coming in. Anytime when this is one of the first ones, changes on the horizon. It's about to happen. And the song was, it came in like a wrecking ball, or you did, or whatever it was. The path is shifting. The road leads a new way. Do not be alarmed as change beckons today. And then it says offerings. Abundance lies in the heart that allows. So here's the thing. between these three cards, don't hold back. Things are actually changing now. You just have to allow it. That was the whole point of this recognition that you were experiencing in this morning that you're experiencing right now, is not to freeze and go, oh my God. It's like, let it go. It's done and over with. You reach that point of recognition. It is like reprogrammed, embedded into you at a deep cellular level. That's not a lesson that you're going to forget too soon. And this feels more not like a hurry up, kind of thing. Like, why are you still? They're not. I don't feel any sense of any kind of like, don't mourn. They understand. They're grateful for you coming to this place. They just don't want you to shame yourself, to feel guilty, to be angry with yourself. It's like a somebody consoling you. It's like spirit coming in and consoling you, and it's like, it's okay. You just let it go. There's no judgment from my end. It's like when a parent has been telling a child something for so long, and then the child has to experience something and they fucking finally realize, like when you get older and you turn around and you're like, I treated you like shit. I am so sorry. And the parent's like, it's okay. Because I just wanted you to make it to the other side. There's pride and love and no grudges. And spirit wants you to love you the way they love you. So they're saying, that's not our experience of this situation. We don't want that to be yours right now. And so they're like, it's like taking the bull by the horns, right? Don't hold back. Shit's going to be shifting. Don't be alarmed by it. Just saddle up for the ride. Okay? Because when you get to this place of allowance, because I think the mourning, mourning, like the grieving, let's say that. The grieving of this realization is like, when you're in the midst of grieving, if other things happen, like I guess don't think that the change that's occurring around you is because of how you behaved, or because of the self-sabotage you went through, or because you were part of the reason you got stuck. Or don't think that you're being punished. This change is not punishment for, I don't know why I need to say it like that. Like, the change that's happening isn't because you didn't trust spirit, you didn't trust yourself, and like now you just can expect a whole lot of like repercussions because of that. No, this change is actually to your benefit. Like, this is not like a retaliation or a consequence for what you went through. This is the change. Like, this change was always waiting on the other side of you letting go of that cord. It was always a part of the plan, always a part of the path. And so they're saying, like, don't look at it like that. And you may only see it that way because because of the shame and the guilt, maybe you feel like you deserve it. I would deserve it. It'd be, like sometimes when we take responsibility for the small part that we play in something, we suddenly then just feel like, well, I can't protest any consequences that come my way because, I deserve it. Much like a child would be like, I would deserve it if you didn't forgive me, Mom. I would deserve it if you did, that kind of thing. So they're just saying, don't hold back. We recognize where you're at. Don't hold back. Shit's going to shift. And abundance is going to come in if you allow it. And then we have the hummingbird song, nectar of sweetness and joy it brings. The hummingbird's healing as medicine it sings. It's like, honor what you've been through and the lesson that you've learned and coming out the other side of it by taking the bull by the horns and not holding back and living life. That's where the rest of that healing, because it's like, that's the answer to feeling better about this realization that you've come to. You know what I mean? Getting out there and enjoying life. The hummingbird's song. When you sing your song, when you get out and enjoy life, that's when the rest of this can heal. That's how you heal this grief that you're experiencing right now. It's much like when someone passes away and you finally get to that place of actually feeling the grief of it after however long, and you find life settles down and it allows it to come up. The best way to honor that or the person or what occurred is usually I don't know a single soul that would be like, you should stay forever in this mourning as a way of proving that you realize and recognize, the love that you had and whatever. Mm-mm. It's like the best way. The only thing I can think of is anybody who's passed over, parent, family member, friend, would be like, the best way to honor me is to get out there and fucking live, because I can't. It's like there's no joy and there's no honor in being a martyr. So it's like, you may be afraid that you're going to experience consequences, right? As a result of whatever role you played. Like, well, look at what I did. I don't deserve that anyways, because I'm the one that kept me stuck. And so it's like, that's not Spirit's standpoint. Are you going to punish you? Don't hold back. Don't feel like there's no honor in you being a martyr in this situation. There's no honor in that. Like, it's almost like taking yourself out of the game because you feel like you deserve to be taken out of the game. Because, I don't know, whatever happened in your situation, you feel like because you played a part in it, you suddenly don't deserve this. And so it's almost like that self-fulfilling prophecy. And they're like, no, honey, this is grief. We don't feel this way. Nobody's here to punish you for whatever role, because wasn't living through that and existing through that and that struggle difficult enough? Are you going to really waste that lesson by not moving forward? So they're saying, they're echoing, this change is coming because it's meant to come. It's always been meant to come, and it's here for you. Spirit, what advice do you have to help them move forward then? If you're in this place of, they're like, don't hold back, but this person is in recognition of what's just transpired and feeling grief. Like, I should have done this, or I could have done this, or I, ignored this, or whatever it is. How do they switch? How do they switch so that they don't hold back? How do they switch so that they don't shrink back from this change that was always meant to happen. The self-healing oracle is what we're at. Sadness. Patience. Well, for one, you need to be patient with yourself. Allow yourself to feel the grief of that, to be patient with yourself rather than judging yourself. I'm gonna whip this one out. I'm getting a couple of mixed messages with the selling out one, which could be because I'm a biscuit eater. Give me just a second, guys, because I know how to speak. Come on. No, I don't care how many times I clean out this stupid desk. I let it get back to right where it was. Just saying. And it's probably primarily because I just do exactly what I'm doing right now. Is it over there? I don't even understand because I ain't whipped this fucking book out in a hot minute why it was over there. Okay, selling out. Selling out. Oh. Number one. This card asks you to find the courage to stand up for your convictions and take steps towards doing what you love. Selling out is linked to the shadow aspect. You need to examine your fears around survival, power, responsibility, and success. It's reminding me again of the whole you didn't come this far or learn this situation not to use it for either your betterment or the betterment of others. It's allow this to be not a catalyst, but allow this to serve a greater purpose than how you're viewing it. And then we have unleash your creativity, which gives me the energy. I feel like this is a hodgepodge. I got to be honest with you. These two things I feel like are over here. I'm not really sure why, but I think these three things are. Well, I feel like the patience card is really giving yourself grace. If you can't get over the fact of the time lost, you're always going to feel like you missed out, and that's not the case. And if you remove the time constraints from something, then is it really something worth mourning over? Or is it something that you just go, oh, okay, and you move forward from? There's something about the time constraints in which you have placed on it yourself. Not that we don't have literal, real time constraints and things that we have to, deadlines we've got to meet and things like that. And that may be the biggest culprit of your sadness. It's like, I should have done that. I should have had this by now. I should have done that by now. And why couldn't I have done that? That's what it is. The biggest issue with letting go of that cord was the time frame, or the expectation of like achieving something within the time limits you placed on yourself. I should have already done this. That's what they were saying. Okay. And that had you already had patience for yourself and given yourself grace to get there, right? It's almost as if you were fighting with something because you're like, I'm not there already. I'm not there already. I'm not there already. And they're like, you would have been by now had you given your old self grace. So in this moment, grieve, but do not make yourself a martyr to this and feel as if now you don't deserve things and that it's like this is a missed opportunity. That is the biggest lesson from what you went through. Had you given yourself grace, the thing that you fucking give everybody else. And if your worthiness wasn't dependent on having had done that already by now, are you going to sell yourself short? Are you going to sell yourself short and not live authentically as yourself because now you need to punish yourself? Like, what was that sentence? Oh, let me bring it back up. I done forgot it. My brain's like, what was that sentence? Examine your fears around survival, power, responsibility, and success. Allow this examination to lead you to freedom, self-expression, choice, and love. Stand up for your convictions and take step towards what you desire. Oh, your integrity and inner strength are being severely tested. You have an opportunity to act with either fear or love. You have an opportunity to either act from fear or love. And I think that's where unleash your creativity and soulmate are coming into play, because these are two of the areas I think that have been highlighted a lot recently, where it's like, are you going to hold back from either one of these because you recognize what role you've played in something and now you feel like you don't deserve it? Are you going to sacrifice the whole point of getting through that because now you can't believe it took you so long because you're going to adhere to certain time frames and say, well, this should have happened already and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff? Stop putting those goals on yourself. Like, society does that enough. This bill's due at this time, and you got to do this by this time or you'll be evicted, or you got to do this by this time because of this. And it's like, give yourself the grace that you've been needing all along. And recognize that by working towards something, albeit even if it's slowly, sometimes these shortcuts are actually longer than the direct path, right? Sometimes we think, I know a better way. It's like from point A to point B may look like it's exceptionally long, and you think it's going to be smarter to do something different, but in the long run, it causes you to be more delayed than had you done it just the right way, the integral way to begin with. Had you given yourself the compassion, the grace, and removed the limitations on yourself, you'd probably be further along now. That might be a part of your mourning, your grieving, is that realization that I could have been further along than this. Are you going to withhold and sell yourself short and sell yourself out because of this realization and keep yourself from this even longer? No. You're going to take the bull by the horns. You're not going to hold back. Okay. The whole point of getting beyond this and learning this lesson was so that you would no longer be delayed. Like there's more delay in setting arbitrary goals that you can't meet and then punishing yourself because you couldn't meet it. What the fuck? This change was always meant for you. It's that thing that's coming back around, right? It's that second loop. This is that second chance. Don't fuck it up. I know a lot of people wouldn't use that, maybe that doesn't sound so like compassionate and loving. It's like, no, you got a second chance at this. Don't repeat your past mistakes. It's time to move forward. Spirit completely recognizes and understands the grief, right? But now let's move forward. And I feel like there might be a fear with there might be a tangible external circumstance where you're like, that has you believing you're going to reap negative consequences because of how long it took you to work through something, right? And you're like, well, it's too late. This is already going to happen. I'm seeing something externally. So I want to talk to them about that. What is happening in the physical realm that has them in this belief system it's all too late? And is it too late? Are there negative consequences or, whatever it is that's going to happen? Because I feel like Spirit's trying to make sure that you don't fawn, like where a baby deer just is like, you know what, I'm going to die anyway, so I'm just going to collapse and let it happen instead of fighting against it because there's nothing I can really do. So they just buckle to the pressure and they lay on the ground. Archangel Tarot. Remember asking about what is happening external to them that feels like they are actually going to be punished for this thing that they finally realize. Five of Cups. Things not turning out the way that you'd hoped. Not seeing the positive in a situation. Remember, in the Five of Cups, the 3 cups you see spilt in front of you is probably what you think is going to be the consequence that's going to happen to you. And Spirit's like, there's something else that you're not seeing. So maybe there's an out from that consequence. The ramifications, the event that you think is inevitable because of what's transpired over the last 2 years. So the energy of the what you think is coming down the pike for you, or what you think you see in front of you, is like, turn around, there's 2 other cups right there. And it's like, in this, the moon card, this is like the subconscious, but it literally says at the bottom, release. This is the moon card. I don't know if you can tell, but it says release fears that hold you back. It's like you are looking at something that you think is approaching you. It's those scary movies, guys. I know we all seen it, right? The dumb bitch that freezes because like Jason or whoever with the fucking, chainsaw is showing up, and she just stands there. And you're like, run, bitch, move. Like, what are you doing? Right? That's the fawning. Like, I'm just like, it is too late. It's already going to happen. And they're like, it's not. Whatever you think, whatever negative consequence you think is approaching you, you think you might see, the answer to stopping it is actually right here. Literally at your heels. It's right fucking there. Quit staring at this motherfucker. It's like looking at somebody coming at you who wants to harm you and dismember you with a chainsaw, and you never turned around and realized that there's a shotgun right behind you. Like leaning up against the tree. It's like right fucking there. But you fawned. And it's like, it doesn't even require a lot of work. It's not like you got to run 2 miles to get the shot. It's right fucking behind you. It's right there. Your answer is right there. The only way a negative consequence is going to get to you is if you're a martyr. Don't be a martyr to the situation. There's no honor in being a martyr, spiritually a martyr. And okay, I get it. It's coming together. They're like, if you stop, then that negative consequence will. I still keep saying consequence, and I think that's huge, like that's how you've been framing it, right? And they're more like, oh no, it's just a negative event and something that's negative because you don't like it, right? But they're like, as long as you don't stand there and wait for it to get to you, and like the answer is way closer than you think. So it says, release fears that hold you back, right? Like some people won't turn the opposite direction and go because they're afraid to turn their back onto something, because then I might miss it. I might not see it. Something will happen. And it's like, well, you know what ends up happening with a situation like that? When you fawn, that's the 10 of Swords I think it's even in this deck. Or maybe it's in the Golden Universal. Hold on, let me find it for you. We're going to have a conversation. I'm going to teach you about this. It is. It's in this deck. Remember, I told you all there's a difference between the 10 of Swords and different decks. Usually in some decks, the person is face down and it's in their back, right? So that's kind of something like where it snuck up on you. Like that's like a sabotage type of energy from a different, you know what I mean? Like you didn't really have anything to do with it type of energy. But in this 10 of Swords, it's like the person walked right fucking into it. They were witnessing, watching, and almost allowed it to happen. At least if you turn the fuck around and it happens, you attempted to stop it. But this motherfucker just stood there while these swords came right at him. And then we have on the other side of the 5 of Cups is the 3 of Cups. It is the celebration, something monumental happening, a reason to be happy and joyful. So it's like you can keep paying attention to the spilled cups in front of you and allow fears to hold you back because you think this consequence is inevitable or this event is inevitable and that it's just going to consume you and like you're almost like deserving of it, like it's your fault or whatever else. And it's like, show yourself some grace first and foremost, and use the lesson you just went through and not stay in that victimhood. You've got power in this situation. All you have to fucking do is turn around, and the answer that you need is going to be right fucking there. It's already in your presence. You just gotta turn around and look. Take your eyes off of the negative shit you think is going to happen, and you'll find the fucking answer, and it will be so worth it. You will be celebrating. So what is in their environment that they can turn around and see? Let's talk about that. What is right there? They think, you know what? It's my fault. Like, this is just going to happen. I'm just going to have to. And it's like, there's no honor in that. Why the self-sacrifice? Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground. Stand your fucking ground. So what is the 2 cups? Tell us about the 2 cups. That's right there. The answer that's right there. That would change everything. Change beckons. I swear, we have the Queen of Swords, right? I never really understood why they said that. There's a saying at the bottom of this where it says, seeing the humor in a situation. And it's really all about when you pull out and you realize. It's almost like if you would just go after this, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Like, I really thought this other thing was inevitable and I was just going to, whatever. And it's like, this choice in this moment is what takes you out of that loop. You've come out the other side, but something tells me you've come out the other side before and you went right back in. Right? And they're like, so this time we're not going to choose fear. That's not how we're not going to be the martyr. We're not going to fawn. We're going to have faith and optimism. And we're going to take our eyes off of the negative that we think is coming towards us and look around and see the answer right in front of us. We're not going to fawn. We're going to stand our ground. And we're going to laugh because it was right there all along. Seven of Wands. Shit. 7 of Water, which is the 7 of Cups. At the very bottom. You can't see it. Let me show you. I used to do this. I used to get up really close. It says stop procrastinating. Don't just stand there. You're allowing whatever that is to get closer to you. And it's literally like you turn around and see those 2 cups and it's going to change everything. Still want to know give us a better understanding of what's already in the environment that's the answer to this situation. Like, what you see as a potential is only a punishment if you so choose it to be. Those three. So somebody has fears around money, and you think that, well, it's just, like whatever demise can come from the level of poverty that you think, or the lack mentality that you have right now, or the lack that you have in your life. You're like, well, I guess it's finally going to get me. It's finally going to consume me. It is fear surrounding money, uncertainty around money. 5 of Pentacles. And then it says abundance. So the thing that's in your environment is the answer to this financial demise that you see coming. And it says things looking very good, abundance, long-term solutions. So 3 of Wands. You just turn around and it's like that's where your ships will come in. All these flew out, and I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck. So the King of Air, which is the King of Swords, balancing mental and emotional. Being willing to revise your plans. We've been talking about this out for a while. And then the inflow of abundance. If you allow yourself, it says change is beckoning. And it says if you allow it, you've got to allow this change. Maybe the answer that's right in your environment isn't exactly what you thought it was going to be, but then again, it is. We've talked about that as well. The inflow of abundance. A promising business venture. Okay. Anything else? So it has this feeling of like at the moment the ball's in your court. For whoever this is, this feels like there's a move. Like they're showing me a chess thing, right? There's a move you've got to make. Whatever's meant to proceed or come here after has like you've come out the other side, and now like what is waiting for you is waiting for you to make that move. You have to make the first move. The ball is in your court. And then it's like your ships come in. The three of Wands. Funny thing is, I didn't say it, but on here I did notice at the bottom it says important documents or contracts. And then of course you have to commit to whatever this is. Like you're gonna have to make a commitment to do this. But there may be a level of like hold on. Something about committing to it though, whether it's an actual contract or just committing to this change, feels a little limiting to you. It feels like, but I don't want to do that. But there is a sense that you're like, well, like they're saying, well, plans need to be revised right now, just in the interim. Because Spirit sees what you're talking about, right? Like where you're like, I'm worried this consequence is going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what. I should just kill. And Spirit's like, no, there's actually an out to this. Explain yourself with this. You may feel like it's too late. Like something wouldn't be worth your time, whatever this thing is behind you, whatever is like the out. Like it would be too much work, toil and labor, poverty. Like it's not really the answer. Thief. It's just going to be more waste of time. Unexpected money. I feel like whatever efforts you have made up to this point have actually only produced more of this, like never having enough. You know, like it's the in the United States we have this thing where it's like you rob Peter to pay Paul. It's like this constant juggle act, like having to take from one thing to give to another, and then take from here to here. Like you're just like juggling things, and you're not really actually, you know what I mean? And it's like you're spinning. It's the hamster wheel, spinning your wheels. It is nothing really coming of it, and whatever actions you've been trying to take hasn't worked, and so that's why you think, well, it's just inevitable. Whatever's coming is inevitable. Like you can't fathom this. It's like whatever this new thing is will actually, like, it's like unexpected. Like it's going to work out differently than you think. You just think whatever this new thing is, the two cups that are right on the heel, like as soon as you turn around, it's like, okay, you're gonna look at those like, I don't think it's gonna do what you think it's gonna do. Like to me, it's just the same old bullshit that I've already been doing. Like I've been doing this a lot. You know, might be part of the fawning experience. And so they're like, yeah, there's something in it that's unexpected for you. You anticipate getting like message of concern is like things taking a long time, being delayed, or it not going exactly how you wanted. But it's like really what you're going to get, the message or what's going to come through as a result is going to be, because I was like, why did you have message concern with message? Like, oh, Maybe you just don't believe, you're not turning around because you don't believe there's something new there. You're like, I've already done everything I can. So I'm just going to sit here and watch this shit come up because I deserve it. Had all this opportunity to take care of it, but it's coming. And I just need to own my shit. Like you're some kind of fucking martyr. Like, don't do that. Because we have the distant horizons, which is like the wish card, the vision, like what you've been wanting and desiring, and the home card, which is all about the structure and stability and security that you've been desiring. Like whatever this new thing is, whatever is the new cup behind you, I don't know why I'm suddenly getting like they're giving me a message of a message that was delayed. Like this is going to come through unexpectedly. The answer, the security, the all of this, for whatever reason, has been delayed. Or like it feels like it's delayed because it's going to come in unexpectedly. The energy of it's right here at your heels. Shit, they're showing me when you're not turning around, it's like somebody coming up behind you and tapping you on your shoulder. It's that energy of being unexpected. It's like you just have to. Why is that? For someone, it may just be that here you are, you feel like you've done absolutely everything and tried every avenue, and either you waste your time, you still don't have the money that you need, you still aren't in any better situation, and you're like, it's my fault, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you've been in you almost feel committed to being in prison, but like there's this sense of like I don't know why I get the energy of certain avenues feel like if you take those avenues, like it feels like like you're in prison, like you're like it's like a jail sentence to you. But something comes in unexpectedly that maybe was delayed, and it is that message or it is that cup that's behind you. So maybe during the period of time when you struggled and you held on to that cord, like the answer was always there, but you never turned around. And now that you've dropped the cord, you're on the other side of it, and something is tapping you on the shoulders. You still have to turn around, right? You still got to turn around. Gift and family room. So you still have to allow it. Like it's really close. It's really close, and it's coming in. Man, that's going to be a hard pill for somebody to swallow because, when you're really in this type of energy, it's like maybe that's the importance of just forgiving yourself and having compassion and grace so that you don't keep yourself in a situation now that you've come to a realization. It's like maybe you were a part of the delay when you were doing all of that. And so you think it's like those two cups aren't there, but it's actually going to come in. Okay. Anything else, Spirit? Like, that was a turn. Oh, shit. Change. Sudden wealth. It's like a change in your luck and resources and support. This change is going to be beautiful. Maybe you delayed it because you also didn't like because it requires a little bit of like revision of plans. Okay. I think the message is don't fawn. It'll come in unexpectedly. Something's coming your, whoa, shit. Really soon, this gift will come in. It's really close. Because this is like, it's so close. This card describes intimate things, where you have like the intimate stuff that gets like, it's that kind of a close. It's that personal. It's that in your energy field, right? And so that's what the family room card says. It's a gift, whatever it is coming in, and it's like the official person is it's being ushered in right now, or it is a like it's on its way, because the official person is like an exclamation point, like it is so, like it's happening, and then it's like this, it's coming in, like this is unexpected encounters. So you will be supported, is what I want to say. You still got to turn around though, right? Like somebody can come to your rescue and try to help you out, but like if you stay frozen, it's like you'd have to be open to it. You'd have to take it. So I don't want to get too into the details, because sometimes it makes people think that it's not for them when it is. And so I don't want to do that in this. I just heard, don't be sad. Somebody in somebody's spiritual team is really trying to reassure, trying to talk about what you're experiencing right now, and to give you a better perspective of what you're going through, and for you to know that you shouldn't be any harder on yourself than you've already been, that you need to show yourself grace and compassion, and that maybe, just maybe, what you see coming isn't really going to happen. You maybe don't think it's possible that the answer is that fucking close, and that it's coming up from behind you, that you don't see it, right? The two cups that are behind you. And so all you do is feel like you have to succumb to whatever you see approaching, and you're telling yourself you deserve it. And they're like, no, you don't. Why? Because you worked your ass off to get through something. You worked your ass off to drop that cord. Why don't go there and persecute yourself? Part of what kept you stuck for so long is the lack of compassion and patience you had with yourself. That actually kept you in that place for so long. So let's use that lesson and apply it. And before you know it, those two cups are going to be on your heels. They'll be right there. You're going to get tapped on the shoulder, but it will require you to turn towards it, whatever it is, and to be an allowance of whatever it is. Even if it means things are slightly, the plans, or how it's maybe there'd be a little bit of revision to something, but like, it's okay. So don't hold back. And I think I just look back down at this, because this is a card where it says plans that need revising. And I think maybe a lot of the revision that happened was on how that thing came in, right? If things were slightly delayed because of whatever you went through, it's like, it's still coming. It's been waiting for you to get here on the other side of this. And because they're also pointing out more going on than meets the eye. They're almost like, you don't have, Queen of Swords, you don't have the full picture yet. Remember, Queen of Swords kind of pulls out from the thing. You can see the greater, grander picture. And so it's almost like that's where seeing the humor is. It's like, oh my gosh, the answer was there all along. Or, oh my gosh, it was always going to be there just in time. Like that kind of situation. Well, that's kind of beautiful, though. But remember, don't hold back. I feel like maybe you think you're not done mourning what happened. And I know it sounds so really weird because it's almost like this realization really hits you. You're like, you know, and whatever is going to come in, it's going to come in before then. And they're like, don't worry, because what's about to come in is going to help you release that grief you have over that missed opportunity or wasted time or whatever it was. Just be open to allowing it. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it be that way. Sometimes it is a heavy reading. Yeah. I feel like I need to start putting a disclaimer at the top that I'm not doing personal readings. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes that we can convince ourselves that the grief that we experience at a revelation or a realization is actually just more of the healing, when in actuality, it can be an indication that the healing has occurred. I'll throw back to that time when I told you all I had done so much work and I went to the volcano and I was ready to kind of like throw a funeral for my old self. And I was like, suddenly, you know, the realization of how bad I wanted so bad to get away from her. And then I got to the place where I realized what it really meant. Sometimes we don't, like, the healing part was letting go of the cord is what I feel like in this situation. And this is just an opportunity to exercise compassion for the self. To live that truth. We say that we love ourselves and we honor our truth, and then we let go of judgment and all kinds of, you know, like all of that guilt, shame, blame, all of that. And it's like, okay, then, so now is the embodiment. You get to do that. You get to actually exercise that. Spirit understands the human aspect. But for whatever reason, Spirit felt like they needed to step forward and say, hey, what you're experiencing, perfectly valid, very much so okay. We applaud you for getting to this place. We've been waiting for you to come to this place. But by no means do we join you in these emotions that you're feeling. And by no means does does the effort or lack thereof that you put in over the last period of time The light, the flame just went out. Reflect your worth. Like you suddenly don't deserve something because you've always deserved it. It was a mere matter of you realizing it and you letting go of whatever cord that kept you from seeing that, right? Letting go of the end that all these things that were attacking you had. Which kind of ties into the recognizing that the lack of trust you had in spirit and in yourself was really a part of the greater plan to keep you feeling separate within the self. And you know, like from yesterday's reading, you know that's going to be the go-to. Like that's the last ditch effort. And you still allowed it, fell for it, experienced it. This is why I tell people nobody is perfect. Nobody's impervious. You can have as much confidence in yourself, but to ever make a claim that something can never get to you, I like this idea and notion that my ancestors would never let this happen. Oh, sure, your ancestors wouldn't, but you fucking would. Like, you're a human having a human fucking experience. Therefore, you are not perfect. And if you keep holding that cord, I don't give a shit what your ancestors, anybody else, any other deity, any other protection that's put up does. You're giving whatever it is and in a direct connection to you. And so anything they do won't fucking matter because you're still holding that cord. Healing does not guarantee or make you impervious to negativity or bad shit happening. It educates you and helps to teach you the process you should have learned a long time ago. How to live your life so that things, people, situations, places, energies, entities don't have the ability to traumatize you and wound you to the point of immobility, stagnation, separation. Healing is learning the process of living. What you do in your healing process is what you should have been doing while you were living all along, when all these things happen and get presented and surround you and everything else like that. It's what helps you to hold on to your autonomy, to know your fucking truth, and to always hold on to your power amidst all these different circumstances. It doesn't make you impervious to that shit. Like, we need to understand what that really means. And all too frequently in spirituality, you hear so much of like, it's just bullshit. It's egoic spiritual bullshit. Nobody's a messiah. Nobody is a messiah. We have no messiahs here on earth. There's no one impervious to the shit that happens in this fucking existence. Nobody. So why wouldn't you like this unrealistic expectation that this shit won't happen again and that you can't be influenced? It takes work. It's a process. It's not a one and done. It's not I did this and so forever it's like this. It is a process. It's a continuous process. This whole living thing and how to do it. how to stay in your power. It's not a one and done. And so it can happen. And if it can happen to anybody, why are you not having compassion for yourself? It's okay. It's perfectly okay. But you have come out the other side. You've taken ownership, responsibility, accountability. You recognize it, you see it, and it's hit at a very deep level. It's no longer surfacey. It's no longer, because I feel like this is something spirits, you've been told. Spirits try to get the message to you through people, places, circumstances, situations, and you just kept going, I just don't think so. Or that's just not for me. You fought it. Mm-hmm. Why is this still happening? Because you're still holding the cord. Let it go. When people have like implantations and seals and cords removed from their energetic field, we always talk about filling that spot, right? Because otherwise you're leaving it open for it to reattach. You're leaving that space open almost as if it's like this spot's just for you. It's like it has to be filled with something else. So you'll hear in a lot of these energetic practices of self-love, filling it with, whatever symbolically that represents love and that frequency, right? Because it's like if you leave space for something to come back in, right? Which things can get in anyway, but when you do things in a manner where you leave it open for it to reattach, you don't go through the process to fill it back up, that hole where something was removed, it's going to find its way back in. It's almost an invitation to say, hey, your home is still here for you. So you have to really, yeah. And maybe in this moment you feel like, well, I came to this realization too late. And it's like, maybe not, because you don't realize how close those two cups are. But I think you're about to. It's almost like you won't turn around because you're like, there's no way those two cups. I delayed the process so much. There's no way those two cups are still there. When Spirit's like, these cups have been waiting for you to come out on the other side. So. Anywho. All right, guys. Well, my candle is out. I hope that helps somebody. And I'm glad, Manishka. I'll probably change my username, right? Best part is my mom all of a sudden said, I'll focus on myself now. Like she said that for herself. She said that for herself, which would be fucking amazing. Good on you, Mom. Is all I want to say. Oh, that's pretty big, LP. So I know, okay, before I let you guys go, I know there was something LP was posting up here earlier, and I caught one tiny glimpse, but I couldn't stop because you know me, because once I stop, then it's like somewhere else. Hey, Goddess. Okay, so there was a lot. Let me get up here. Almost needed to hear this. Confirmations. Okay. The layer has peeled back and released, and I wanted to hold on to that skin for so long because it's familiar. Oh, I feel you. Oh, triggering, but in a good way. Spirit is annoyed at me the same way I'm annoyed at my friends when they don't take my advice. And so the stupid thing and regret the stupid thing. Oh, the horse is made ready for the day of battle, but the victory belongs to the Lord. You miss your mom. Man, I don't know. Gosh, where did this mother energy come? Are y'all picking? Is this have a lot to do with your mothers? Like, I have no clue what I was just doing. It sounds a bit Norman Batesy, but mothers have the strongest energies, healing portals, sometimes because they wear a life energy at one point. Yes. Well, mothers are or those with a uterus. Frequently, that's like considered the portal, right? Between two worlds, but they're also consistently on the verge of death. Like anybody who, like, the veil is very thin for anybody who walks between both worlds. So a lot of people who have exceptionally severe illnesses or have had near death experiences or who have gone through like cancers and things like that, like the veil thins for them because they walk the line between two worlds. And same for anybody who has a uterus that has bled every month for however long. It's like, who else can, you know what I mean, do that and still, like, seriously, on the regular. It's like that portal is constantly open, right? Like, it's so, yeah, and that's the reason why with the feminine energy we utilize our cycle as a time to connect spiritually and do a lot of internal work for ourselves because anyways. I'm literally crying. Oh, Manishka. Spirit and their feminine today. Definitely mother figure energy. Don't you worry, baby energy. Everything will be all right. Oh, I get it. I understand why you're talking, like, why you're saying that, right? Enjoy the ride. Wound, heal, learn, repeat. The images on the cards are a bit haunting. Yeah, sorry guys. I just had to go back and see. Hey Trisha. Okay. I know. I always need to edit this out because, like, I sit here for like however long, and people, I'm sure when they come back and watch this video, like, what is she doing? Is this what it is? Like, the rest of this is the. I'm like, the reading really wasn't an hour and 45 minutes. It's just me talking. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope that was beneficial and helpful. Always remember that if you would like a personal reading, you can absolutely book that on my website. That's the only place that you can book it. Which should be in the description box below this video, which I might need to go back and check and make sure everything's up to date. Because I kind of feel like maybe YouTube's been posting an old version of something I had. I'm like, I know I changed that shit. I went through and changed like the information on every video. So anybody who saw the old videos, I don't know. But there you go. If you would like a personal reading, by all means, go ahead and book that with me on my website. There's different variations. You can have a shorter one, quick, like a one question. And then there's like a deep dive. And then there's also like tailored services where you'd have to send an inquiry in. So All right, guys. I hope everybody has a fantastic, wonderful day, and I'll be hopping on again. Wait, today's Friday. I was gonna be like later this week. It's the weekend. Definitely Sunday. It's like Easter around here, and so I've got my kiddos on that day. I won't be on that day. Maybe I might come on tomorrow, but given the type of weekend it is, it's a holiday here. I'm not certain, so I might be able to make it back by Monday, but we'll see. Okay, guys, we'll see. Hope everybody has a fantastic day.